Hi, Lara from Forex Info USA with your free US dollar index Elliott wave analysis for the trading session on Monday the 8th of March. I'm doing this video now nearly 5 hours after New York has closed trading on Monday the 8th, so we are analysing the trading session in New York on Monday the 8th. If you would like Elliott wave analysis for the euro dollar and or the pound dollar, you'll find it on my site. Check it out. Different packages, find the one that's right for you using the big fat green subscribe button, kind of hard to miss. Starting this analysis with a look back to 1985 and reminding ourselves again of the bigger picture. We had a 5 waves down at cycle degree, I'm using that to denote cycle degree, and cycle degree waves last several years, 7, 8, 9, 10 years or so. Followed by 3 waves up at cycle degree for A, a 3 waves down at cycle degree for B, which took about just under 10 years, and now we're starting on a cycle degree wave for C, which should be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up to end comfortably above the end of A, which is about 122, and that should take a few years. What that means is in the following years, for the next 5 to 7 years or so, we should be seeing strong dollar rises that eventually will see the dollar comfortably above 122 in a few years' time. Along the way, we've got 1, 2 complete. We're working on the early stages of a third wave up. We'll see a correction for 4 that will not go below this point here, just below 90. And then we'll see a 5th wave up to take it above 122. We're just in the early stages of a third wave, and third waves have the most momentum and carry the greatest distance. So we're at this moment in the very early stages of seeing some very strong dollar rises coming up. I have a target on the upside for this third wave. If wave 3 reaches price equality with this wave 1, we could expect the dollar to end around about 92.97 before we see a correction down. If, however, wave 3 is 1.618 the length of wave 1, and that's very common, we may see the dollar reach up to 104.58 before we see a correction down. And like I said, when that correction happens, it will not reach below this point here. Taking you now to an hourly chart just for the last 3 months, where this maroon 2 would be just off the left of the chart here. So this is the very recent dollar rises, with a minor 1 and 2 complete and a minor 3 most likely complete. I place a lot of weight on Elliott's channeling technique, and with this repeated sideways movement generally trending down with lots of 3s and overlaps, this certainly does look corrective, and therefore I'm going to label it wave 4 with no question marks here, saying has 3 ended and are we in a 4th wave? I'm pretty certain we are. Draw this channel by drawing a trend line from this high here to this high, creating a parallel copy and placing it on the end of wave 4. That contains price movement up for this third wave at blue or minor degree, and when price breaks out the edge of the channel, then you have an indication that this minor wave is over and the corrective minor wave that follows it is underway, and that's what we have here. Likewise, corrective structures have a strong tendency to be staying within parallel trend channels, and here I've got the AC trend line, which should provide support and resistance for any downwards movement that we have upcoming. When we have price breaking through the upper edge of this trend line, which is simply a parallel copy of this trend line here, when price breaks through this upper edge, then I will have confirmation that wave 4 blue is over and wave 5 blue is underway. That channeling technique works pretty well. Because price is still within this parallel channel, I have a question mark here on is this a 1 or 1 and 2, and I'm not going to be certain that we have an end to wave 4 until I see price above this channel. So taking you now to an hourly chart, we can have a closer look at the breakdown of this structure here, where this green 2 is this green 2, and here's our recent sideways movement with an A, B, C to reach below the end of A, and it was a nice clean 5 waves down. This certainly has a look of a 5 wave up, which is one reason why I have a question mark here. Is this possibly the first wave up of our 5th wave at blue degree? Is this possibly a correction down for the second wave? If we see a subsequent 5 waves up, that should take the dollar through this around about 81. If it goes through that point and reaches above that, I'm going to say that we are probably in the beginning of a fifth wave at minor degree and we should see new dollar highs. Once that happens and I know where wave 5 has begun, I'll be able to do some calculations and work out where wave 5 is most likely to end. If, however, the dollar reaches around about 80.63, just around here, then a trend line drawn from the previous high down through here may be seeing a triangle form in this fourth wave position. If it turns around shortly around 80.63 and comes back down but does not make a new low, stays above this low here, and comes back down, we may be seeing a triangle towards the end of its structure unfold. So we'll see what's happening with the dollar in the next 24 hours. Corrective structures sometimes can be a little trickier to analyse because there are quite a few different variations that can be played out. Impulsive structures are much easier because there are only two structures, impulse and diagonal. Corrections have several different variations, so that's why I have a question mark through this, and that's why I'm using trend channels, because they provide strong evidence of when waves begin and end. I hope this is useful in your trading. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to give a very clear direction, although I do have a couple of ideas to tell us what may be happening. I have an upside target for the longer term, and I have an invalidation point at 78.44 on the daily chart. That's all for me today with the US dollar index. I hope your day is awesome and may all your trades be profitable.